I'm Mike Benton for THUNDERVISION, and breaking news has hit the roster for the last 24 hours in the form of two impact signings. On Tuesday, the Thunder signed forward Matt Foy, who has over 50 games of NHL playing experience, and earlier today, the Thunder re-signed forward Garrett Hunt, named fan favorite and the unsung hero in last season's 2010 and 11 campaign. The guy who got the deal done joins us now, and Thunder head coach Matt Thomas. Matt, with two players coming in, obviously filling different roles, what does it mean for the impact of your hockey club?
Well, I don't know, filling different roles. You got Garrett Hunt's a goal scorer now. He had 13 last year, career highs, but two pretty important players in my mind. Obviously, we all know what Garrett Hunt brings to a team, and I think the way he finished with 11 points in his last 14 games and having career highs and still maintaining what he does best and playing a tough role, I really look for him to just be a one year older and that much more of an impact every single night. And then Matt Foy is a real interesting signing. Obviously a guy who's never spent a day at our level. He spent more days in the NHL than any guy I've ever coached, and a couple injuries kind of cut his career short, but he's 100% healthy and he's ready to go, and he wants to kind of reclaim his career and get it back on track. And I think it's a great fit for us. I think it's a great fit for him, and I really look forward to adding both those guys into our lineup.
Great quote from an NHL GM where it was said one time, "I'd rather tame a lion than paint stripes on a kitten." So as far as Garrett Hunt is concerned, when you look at his development in this season, what's next for him?
Well, I think taming the lion is probably the order of business. I don't think you can take away the way he plays, and I'll never ask him to be anything that he's not, and he's a guy that goes out every single night, and if anybody takes a liberty on any one of our players, he's going to be the first guy on the scene. He's going to be the first guy to change momentum, and he thrives in it, and he's really good at that role. But I think the real test for him is what can he prove to people at the next level in terms of what type of player he's become. And he's got a great reputation as a tough player and a competitor every night. Now he's got to throw a little bit more skill into that mix, and I think you look at his numbers last year. I already mentioned the increase in his production, but he's got to start the season off and have a great start, and I think he's going to focus on that. I don't think you ever drift away from what you really are as a player, but you can certainly add things onto that, and he works hard. He's one of the hardest working guys off the ice, on the ice after practice, before practice. He's always working on his game, working on his shot, working on plays that he's going to be able to make to create more scoring opportunities, and you just saw the fruits of his labor last year, and I really look for him to be a guy that comes in right off the hop. He's got to continue his robust style, but he's got to find a way to maybe tame it a little bit so he can focus a little bit more on putting the puck in the back of the net, because we've seen him score a lot of nice goals here in Stockton Arena.
Is that similar to what a lot of AHL teams are looking for from a player of his size and stature?
Well, I think that's exactly what it comes down to. It's his size and stature. He can't go up against a 6'5", 250-pound tough guy in the NHL or the American Hockey League for that matter, and he shouldn't. He will. He's got no problem doing it, and that's what you got to love about him. But for him, he's got to be a guy that goes after they're more skilled players, and he hits them, and he gets those other guys real mad, so they got to chase him around and take some penalties on him, and we go on the power play. And I think for him, if he can turn down some fights, it's probably going to be to his benefit. I don't think our fans want to see him do that, and unfortunately, if you do see it, know that it's not him, it's me telling him to, and because we all know that he's the first one to engage when asked, so he's usually doing the asking as well. But for him, I think it's really about what can you prove to everybody that you can do beyond the toughness element. I don't think anybody ever questions how tough he is, how good of a fighter he is, but I think everybody wants to see can he do more, because he just can't do that job every night at the American Hockey League and NHL level. So you need to really add some things into your game, and he's proven it with the penalty kill. He's been real good on the penalty kill for us for a better part of 2 years now, and for him, I think it's just about adding more offense 5-on-5.
Matt Foy hasn't had a full season of play since he was under contract to Minnesota. What have you learned about him in terms of what could be the big turnaround for him this season?
Well, the big thing is that we've got a lot of mutual friends. He's from Mississauga, where I grew up, and that's actually where we got the deal done when I was home just a week and a half ago. And it's been something that he's been contemplating. I think, when you're 27 years old, and more importantly, when you're 25 years old and your career gets taken away from you from opportunity and some injuries, and I think you get frustrated. And I think it was him dealing with a lot of that frustration, and I think he's over that. I think mentally he's in the right spot where he knows that if he comes in and puts his head down, works hard, he's going to be able to get back to where he wants. But when you're 6'3", 225 pounds, and you can skate and score like him, you're a weapon. You're a weapon for teams, and I don't think anybody's going to ignore it. He's got to prove himself again, and I'm happy that he's decided to do that here.
With over 50 games of NHL experience and nearly sniping 30 goals in the American Hockey League, how does that translate here to where you might place him at the ECHL level?
Well, I don't think for a second that as long as he gets his rhythm back, he's not going to score on a nightly basis. It's not unrealistic to think that can translate into 40, 50 goals, but obviously, you really got to have it going on. You got to get into a real good rhythm, and I think the trick for him is going to be early, because it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get back in a rhythm, is how he channels his frustration if the puck isn't going in the back of the net for him. If it does start going in early and right away, it could be pretty scary how capable he is to be an impact guy and one of the leading scorers in the league, because he's, again, I'll preface his size and his skill. It's a lethal combination, and when you add confidence into that mix, it can be a pretty interesting combination for us offensively.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.
Training camp is right around the corner. Matt Foy and Garrett Hunt are signed, sealed, and delivered. I'm Mike Benton for THUNDERVISION.